Hey guys, Zora here. Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Adventures. Last time, we went back into Miss Pavlova's room because I didn't really know where else to go. And who do we have but everyone here after an emergency stop that basically solved half of the questions that we had in both of the rooms. Things are looking really bad for us, and Sholmes in his entirety, after hanging off a wall hook, decided to help us out by pointing it out that the snake that apparently was in this room was the issue. I don't even know where that snake came from. I don't know if he was hiding in his jacket or whatever. But yeah, so this one I actually did have a lot of trouble just because I couldn't... something about how it was introduced to me, nothing made a lot of sense and I couldn't really piece together information. So I don't know how this is gonna go. We're just gonna have to wing it. Just what I was waiting for, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, right. So, cast your eyes down to your wrist again. What? And of course, we can't do it with the handcuffs on our wrist. You've done it again! Your handcuffs are gone! Where did they go? Fear not, I shall see that they're restored after our work is done. I really wish you'd leave them off. Now, everyone, let us begin. Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his Logic and Reasoning Spectacular, aka the correction portion of the spectacular. So just as a quick recap, one of the topics we are trying to figure out is the intruder's identity, and what our lovely Sir Detective has surmised is that Miss Pavlova has a part to it in some way, shape, or form, and he's not wrong about that. You can kind of see where she's getting all pale and stuff. However, the way that he's presenting it with her aching heart is pointing out the issue. So things might go a little bit weird in this episode, and I apologize. She does have a pained expression on her face. Yes, that's true. She looks as though Kazuma-sama's death is weighing heavily on her mind. But you're not sure Mr. Sholmes has read her quite correctly, is that it? Could there be some other way to interpret her expression then? Let's take a moment and really look very closely at Miss Pavlova. Alright, so right here, I don't know why we can just see the aching heart right there. So, as we can before, we can investigate her and only her. Oh, look at that, we have a little picture over there, but I can't actually investigate the picture, which is very sad. I can see Beef Stroganoff just sitting there without a care underworld. Anyways, yeah, it's the back of her hand. Well, actually, is there anything else aside from the aching heart in the hand? No, there isn't. Alright. There's a little claw mark right there. Oh, Naruhodo-san, look! That looks like a very painful wound. It looks like a scratch made by some kind of small animal. And fairly recently, too. Well, whatever scratched her doesn't appear to be around here. Well, time to present. Yes! Yes. When you recalled those horrid events, that claw mark smarts you with pain. I don't know why I started it off really loudly. Indeed, and simple observation reveals that the wound is fresh. Miss Pavlova, did you in fact receive that scratch? Sometime last night? When I think about the young man who died next door, I feel so sad. And when I am sad, the pain from this wound is worse. And it is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. Hey, I actually said it right. So, we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on that portentous night? Why, naturally, it was the friend with which you boarded this vessel, was it not? Ah, as I suspected, another telltale glance. Without doubt, your friend is the writhing serpent we see before us. Look at the face that she has. It seems likely that the scratch mark on the back of Miss Pavlova's hand was made by this friend of hers, doesn't it? Except, snakes don't have claws, do they? No, they don't. They don't even have hands or feet on which claws might grow. Well then, if that snake isn't her pet, what is? What's the true identity of this friend of hers? We should follow her gaze, Naruhodo-san. That's where we'll find the answer. Alright, so if it's not Seaman Stroganoff. Oh god, the teapot, the tea. We got a picture for. I'm sorry, I want to go down this avenue because I'm so curious what's going to happen. There's no doubt, is there? She looked in this direction. Straight at Seaman Stroganoff. Well, they do seem to be friends of sorts. But I can't imagine how he could possibly fit through that ventilator. Don't forget that I managed to fit inside Cosmo's trunk when we first boarded this ship. I would ask what that proves, but I think an equivocal little smile would be more effective. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna go ahead and show you what happens if you get something incorrect in this retelling of the spectacular.
Yes!
So you can hear that the music keeps on playing and it just kind of blinks off. And we have our little 5 badge setup. That's basically our life. Forget about how you could have brought him aboard your case or how he could fit through the ventilator. A true friend always finds a way for you. And what more dependable friend could you ask for than Seaman Beef Stroganoff? That deduction was wanting in every way. Yes, I was wanting you to hear it. I'm quite proud of it. I find myself wanting never to have heard it. I'm quite pained by it, in fact. Oh, sorry. I'll try again. I'm sorry, this is really funny. The same friend is probably reason for the scratch on the back of her hand. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what happens when you get something wrong. It's just really funny. But unfortunately, you do lose a little badge. And if you lose all the badges, then deduction's over. That's the end of that. We're arrested. We are done. We are done so. Anyways, yeah, we want this. We want this little picture frame. It's so cute. Look at it. Look at it. Ow, I just hit my hand on my desk. Ah, look at the photograph in this frame. This must be something Miss Pavlova brought with her when she ran away. She is exceptionally beautiful, isn't she? Yes, that's true. But personally, it's the little black creature she's holding that's caught my eye. Maybe we better take a closer look at this. Oh, okay. So I remember this is one of the parts where I had issues because I wanted to present this picture frame and Herlock was just not having it for whatever reason. I didn't think to look at this picture frame because I didn't think it would have like another thing to investigate. So I lost a little bit of life there. Look at the little cat Miss Pavlova's cuddling here. Oh, what a cute little kitten. It could be, it could vie? It could vie with you, couldn't it, Naruhodo-san? For the blackest outfit. A black kitten. And from the look of this picture at least, Miss Pavlova seems very attached to it. Yep, this is her little friend.
Yes!
Without doubt, your friend is the little kitten we see before us. Yes, the scratch on the back of your hand makes that abundantly clear. The whereabouts of this black kitten isn't clear, but what is clear is that you brought the animal with you when you ran away, didn't you? Darka is my best friend. I couldn't leave her behind. Darka would appear to be a Russian blue. And yet, that fact leaves us in a quandary. The victim's written observations of the night in question tells of a speckled band. Whereas, regrettably, this specimen's markings do not fit that description in any way. What explanation can we then give, pray? What was the sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night? No, don't look at me. This has nothing to do with any of this. Oh, but it does. You have the answer to this quandary even now, hidden behind your back. Yes, that which you are trying, but failing to conceal, can only be the snake's slow skin. Did you see that? She just took something out of her pocket and hid it behind her back. If she just left it in her pocket, no one would have known. Oh yes, ploys like that are Mr. Shulm's specialty. He's ever so cleverly forced her to reveal something. I thought deduction was his specialty. Maybe making me believe that was a ploy too. Anyway, I find it hard to believe that that's the skin of a snake. In which case, just what is Miss Pavlova hiding behind her back? This one was a bit tricky, cause like, it's obvious that the speckled band that we saw was this, but it's not the snake skin. Like, it's absolutely not the snake skin. Like, what is there to tell? This thing is definitely the thing that he saw. Well, it is speckled. It is a band, but what is it? It seems to be soft and fluffy. A long piece of cloth of some sort? And that looks like a handle at one end. I think it may be a cat's toy. This sort is common in the West, apparently. How's that a toy for cats? Cats like to chase the band around and paw at it. Kittens in particular love that sort of play. You only need to wave it in front of them, and they pounce to catch it. Haha, that sounds positively adorable. There you go. So what it does, it basically changes it into a cat toy, and I believe if we just present this... Yes, the thing you are trying but failing to conceal is, a cat's toy. Precisely, and the true nature of the now infamous speckled band. And it was this toy that you dangled through the ventilator. You waved it around, I presume. Naturally, the victim could not fail to notice it. But why? For what reason? My dear boy, there can be only one answer to that. After her feline friend disappeared through the ventilator into the neighboring cabin, Miss Pavlova attempted to use a speckled cat's toy to incite the creature to return. Ah. In summary, the nature of this friend of Miss Pavlova's, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a blithesome Russian blue breed of cat by the name of Darka. I have no idea how you're able to discern that that was a Russian blue cat, because the photograph is black and white. Russian blues are not black, they're just very dark blue, or basically have a black that looks like blue, but whatever. Either way, it looks like he hit a nail on the head. A truly troublesome feline young Darka is proving to be. She must be caged once found. You will forgive us for borrowing the photograph of your pet, Miss Pavlova. No, I guess we're taking it? It was after I gave her food last night. That's when it happened. She scratched the back of my hand, and then ran up the bell cord. Before I could do anything, she had disappeared through the ventilator. Darka. She is so naughty. So, there we go. The intruder's identity is a beloved kitten, which basically makes this a little bit weird now. Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter, the grim demise of the victim. How did this young man lose his life? And why? According to the data of which I've been apprised, it would appear that there were no visible signs of injury. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom. What Mr. Sholmes says is true. There were no signs of a wound anywhere on Kazuma-sama's body. That's right. Mr. Sholmes seems to be unaware of one very important detail. Kazuma wasn't poisoned. Yes, it would seem so. Let's give him the information he's missing now. And I believe, there we go. We need to present the post-mortem report. Yes! Oh, the music for this final part of the spectacular is so great. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by the post-mortem report. Ah, yes. I knew it was one or the other. His neck was... Indeed, the breaking of the cervical vertebrae is fatal. Only that Goliath would be strong enough to survive that. Seaman Stroganoff isn't some immortal freak, you know. The jury is out. Anyway, we have on good authority that the victim's neck was broken. Now, if we take that as fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime. Oh no, could there be? Yes, an examination of the deceased's body will prove the cause of death conclusively. Kazuma died because his neck was broken. In other words, he was probably struck by something, or someone. Yes, that's a distinct possibility. As of yet, no weapon has been found though. Presumably, Darka didn't silently creep up behind Kazuma and deal him a fatal blow. I suppose. It's possible that he had a fall and hit the ground awkwardly. It could have been a terrible act of misfortune that he broke his neck completely by accident. Oh yes, a bad fall could explain it. It's rather hard to believe of Kazuma-sama though. He wasn't a clumsy man. Well, we need to fix its deduction somehow. Is there anything from the scene that could explain what happened? Indeed there is. Oh, I guess we're not doing the examination. Indeed there is. This mark on the floor, right next to his body. That apparently is made of shoe polish. Yes, an examination of the mark on the floor will prove the cause of death conclusively. This particular mark, so prominently visible next to the victim's body, is a deposit of shoe polish. Shoe polish? Indeed, positively identified by a little analysis device I constructed, which I carry now as a matter of course. Beeswax, tallow and dye were my results. The undeniable ingredients of shoe polish. And the color of the polish is a perfect match to the color of Mr. Asagi's lace leather shoes. Looking at this mark, it's not hard to imagine what happened. For some reason, Mr. Asagi must have caught his foot at that point on the floor and tripped. Please, no. And by a dreary turn of misfortune, caught his neck against some immovable object as he fell to the floor. Suffering a fatal blow to the spine, the victim's vertebrae shattered, and in that instant, he lost his life. I don't know. I don't know anything about this. Is that really true, Miss Pavlova? What about the evidence left at the scene where Mr. Asagi lost his life? Yes, the facts are as clear as day to me. You did all that you could to conceal the incriminating evidence. But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right, you hid the evidence that links to the victim's death in that traveling case. I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama merely tripped over and now he's no more? It can't be true! I refuse to accept it! I know it's hard to believe, but the mark on the floor of Rui seems to suggest that that's what happened. But... and if this part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction is right, Miss Pavlova is trying to hide some evidence that would prove it. Here in this cabin. Somewhere in the direction that she just cast her eyes. Where, I wonder? Let's have a good look around. The answer must be here somewhere. Alright, so now that we've basically kind of went away from the fact that her friend was hiding in the traveling case, it makes a lot more sense that the traveling case doesn't really matter, because it makes sense that her friend, her little kitten friend was hiding in the traveling case. So initially when I heard Sholmes' deductions, like, I don't understand why they don't think it's a traveling case, but no, now it makes sense. It's not the tiara, which is apparently back on the desk. However, if we just check this waste paper basket, why can't you just say trash can or something? I don't know. This is a waste paper basket. Perhaps all of the first class cabins have them. But Miss Pavlova only started occupying this cabin late last night. Presumably, there's not much rubbish in there yet. Oh, what's that? It's a broken piece of glass, isn't it? Yes, it is. So that's the weird thing. I thought, didn't we investigate this same bin before this whole deduction show? I'm kind of curious, when did she get the chance to toss that in there? I feel like I've seen it somewhere before. If it looks familiar, perhaps it's more than your mind simply playing tricks on you. Alright, so I guess we present this? Yes. That's right. You hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that waste paper basket. Here we have a fragment of some intricate glass object, it would seem. One that has a familiar air, in fact. Precisely. We found another piece of broken glass on the floor in Mr. Asagi's cabin. And as you can see, the two pieces fit together perfectly. So, Miss Pavlova, shall we consider with what this tells us? Why would it be that part of this glass object, which was evidently broken at the scene of the victim's death, should be found in the waste paper basket in your cabin? We are just pummeling into her left and right. You're well acquainted with this glass bell, are you not? I don't know. In that hushed Russian accent of yours won't save you this time, dear girl. Why? Because we have conclusive evidence linking you to the bell in question. What? Take it away, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes. The evidence linking Miss Pavlova and the little glass bell, that would be... Thank you for throwing me under the bus, Charles! If you look at this photograph, you can clearly see, hanging from Darka's collar, the very glass bell in question. That's a really big bell. The truth has caught up with you, Miss Pavlova. The young man who lost his life last night did so after a truly inauspicious fall. Words are a chore right now. And the cause of that fateful stumble? Your absent feline friend, Darka. I couldn't tell anyone. I'm sorry. Oh, poor Nicolina. She's just a scared little teenager wanting to protect her friend. But with that, the deduction is complete. Elementary, dear Watson. Why don't you tell us now, Miss Pavlova? Tell us exactly what happened last night. It was a little after 1 in the morning. It was so late, but I hadn't had time to feed Darka, so I gave her some food. And then, all of a sudden, she scratched me and jumped out of my hands. People do say that cats become very anxious and nervous in new environments. She was so fast. She disappeared through the ventilator before I could stop her. And that is how you acquired the rather nasty wound on the back of your hand, I take it? Yes. And I had read the, rules on the wall. I knew that I was not allowed Darka with me. Yes, modern science suggests that animals can carry infectious disease. It's a precaution, really. So I listened, and listened, trying to hear if there was some noise in the next cabin. It was very quiet. I was sure someone was there. He must be sleeping. So at that point, you thought it was safe to try to lure the kitten back again? By dangling the end of the toy through the ventilator and into the adjoining cabin. Darka always loves this toy, but it didn't work. Nothing worked. I tried using her favorite toy. I tried whistling to her softly, but nothing. She didn't return. So the faint whistling sound Cosmo wrote about in his diary was Miss Pavlova trying to retrieve her pet. Cats have a propensity to remain hidden in the shadows when frightened. Yes, so there was nothing else I could do. I just had to wait until she had calmed down. But then... I nearly passed out with shock. I heard her cry out, and then... Oh, it was such a dreadful bang. Then afterwards, nothing. It was totally silent. Kazuma was... From the appearance of the brown mark on the floor, it seems likely that what you heard was the victim stepping on the glass bell and tripping up. The SS Buria is a large vessel, but even she can pitch and roll violently without warning. If Mr. Asagi was already off balance as a result of the ship lurching when the kitten got under his feet, the combination of unfortunate factors could easily have caused him to fall over. But what became of the kitten afterwards? In the end, I managed to get her to come back through the ventilator. Yet Darka is nowhere to be seen. I must have forgotten to lock my case. And now she disappeared again. Gracious, that cat is as insufferably restless as I am. Well, he knows something about himself at least. When I woke up this morning, I heard that the young man in the cabin next to mine had died. But I couldn't bring myself to tell anyone what had happened. I was too scared. Scared that they would send me back. Oh, hold on a minute. What about the snake? You're right. Where is it? If the snake isn't your friend, Miss Pavlova, then whose is it and where did it come from? What on earth is such a dangerous creature doing on board the ship? Oh, I didn't say. Snake is my friend. His name is, oh god, Pirosco. Pirosco? Hmm? What? That snake belongs to you? He escaped from cage when emergency alarm sounded. I was looking for him. I did not expect to find him in here. Yes, how did that snake get into this cabin? But animals are not permitted on board. Ha! We are at sea for 1 year. You want to be so long without close friend? Without someone who understands? Couldn't you find someone a little more human who understands you better? But my dear burly fellow, a gargantuan venomous snake? Surely you can appreciate the danger you put in everyone in. No venom. Pirosco does not have venom. He is harmless, very long, but very gentle. He is adorable, like Granny. So I think what he's trying to say here is that this snake is not known for biting. It does have fangs, but it's a constrictor. It's like a boa constrictor. As you can see, where it's constricting Fifth stroking off space right now. It's venomless? Yes, now he is hungry, so he is in bad mood. But once I feed him, you will see big smile. And you feed him what? Milk, I suppose? Ha! Like they say they milk chickens? Ridiculous. Snakes that drink milk are only in stupid stories. Pirosco eats mouses. Big, fat, round mouses. Ah. Oh, so is that what the mousetrap in the passageway out there is for? Of course. How else can I catch my friend's favorite food? Nothing says top of the food chain like look in their eyes right now. Shelves? What's wrong with your face? It refuses to drink milk. It can't hear a whistle. It can't climb up a bell cord, and it's not even venomous. How the deuce does something so inept land a starring role? It's not my fault. I do not make up stories. My Pirosco has nothing to do with this incident. So that's what happened. That's the truth behind my best friend's tragic death. Miss Pavlova. I understand the difficult situation you found yourself in, and I do sympathize. But please remember this. A young man lost his life. If you're going to attempt to cover up your guilt with lies, then no matter what the circumstances, I cannot forgive you. But what are you talking about, Miss Mikotoba? What lies? Miss Pavlova just confessed everything. It was just a series of unfortunate events. An accident. I'm no great detective like Mr. Sholmes. I don't have a gift for knowing the truth. But even I could see that was not the truth. Don't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? To be perfectly honest, yes. There's a discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story, I'm sure of it. I just can't put my finger on it. I confess. I was intending to let Scotland Yard deal with any outstanding issues on this matter. Oh. I am only present here for a very specific reason. The truth is, you, Mr. Naruhodo, are simply a distraction. A distraction? I do hope you've not been finding your shackles too uncomfortable. Ah, thank you very much, sir. Not again? When did he do that? Especially as they're on your wrists as a result of my intervention. I was rather hoping I could resolve matters before we made our next port call. You were, Mr. Sholmes? Yes, but I overlooked one important detail. The deceased young man was a very close companion of yours. Was he not? Yes. Kazuma was my closest friend. I owed him my freedom, even. In that case, we must follow this to its conclusion. No further distractions. You must uncover the real truth here, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, whatever that may be. The key to this is the discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story, I'm sure. If I can chase that down, maybe the truth will become clear. The truth about how you really died. About how that scene in your cabin really came to be. Oh, I don't remember this music before. Alright, I'll see what I can do. Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Naruhodo. So then, shall we begin? We shall not. That will be done in the next episode. So yeah, well, everything does make sense from the fact that it's just all an unfortunate accident. There's still a lot of things kind of left to uncover, and that's what we'll be doing in the next episode. This is Zora signing out. I will see you guys in the next one.